Welcome to learning the art of applique. Applique means applying one design to another and is often used in patchwork and quilting. You will learn how to transfer your design to your project and also 3 different ways to finish your design. You can use any design pattern, but for this tutorial I'm demonstrating with my Doodle Dog designs. You may wish to have a go at my free design, Bert the Great British Bulldog, which you can download from craftsy.com. There are 2 different ways of transferring your design, and method 1 is using a repositioning spray adhesive designed for fabric. Draw, trace or download your design. I'm using my free pattern Bert. Simplify the design, face, eyes, nose, etc. and cut out the pattern pieces. Lay these pieces with the fabric right sides facing up and cut out all of your shapes. Then place onto your backing fabric in layers, face, eyes, nose, etc. You could just pin into place, but the fabric has a habit of moving whilst you're stitching. Therefore I like to use a repositioning spray, but do make sure that it is for fabric use. So you can see here, you spray it onto the back, apply it onto your fabric, and it holds it nice and firmly. It also allows you to adjust the pieces should you get them in the wrong place. So if you're following this Doodle Dog pattern Bert, you just lay the pattern pieces as they're marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So that's ready for stitching now. So now we'll look at method 2. If you're transferring a design from a book and you don't want to destroy your book, you could use a product called Bondaweb. Bondaweb is a double-sided adhesive, and it also has a nice transparent layer to it. So you can trace onto this directly from your book or your picture. So we're using the same pattern again. So we're going to do the background fabric first, which is Bert's face. Put it onto your applique piece of fabric on the wrong side, let it cool, cut it out and peel off the backing paper. We then pop that onto our backing project piece. So you could iron it now, or you could wait till you've got all your pieces in place before you iron. So now we're going to follow on with the same picture and cut out those pieces again, very similar to the method 1. So iron those on, let it cool, cut them out, same with the eyes and the nose, and build up your design. Try to keep your designs fairly simple, as it gets a bit complicated which piece goes on. So we've got them all lined up and ready for ironing, and then we'll be ready for stitching. Now the one thing with this, if you notice the pattern, because we've drawn it out, it's transposed the design. This isn't really a problem with Bert, but if you were doing lettering, your lettering would be the wrong way round. So remember to transpose your lettering with the photocopier before. So now we're going to look at sealing in the raw edges. In time they'll fray if you don't stitch round the edges. So the first method we're going to use is a sewing machine. And I've set this onto a zigzag, and I've set the zigzag width about 3, and the length of the stitch needs to be very close. You'll probably find that it's best if you put it on like a buttonhole length, so it keeps it nice and close. If you've not got a thick fabric, you may also want to have a stabilizer behind. When we get to the tricky bits, you can see as we're going round in a circle, I'm just moving my machine round. And if you have the facility in your machine, you may like to try a blanket stitch round the edge just for something different. It's a bit tricky on small areas though. If you've got sharp edges, pop your needle in, lift your foot up and move it before you go on with your stitching. Okay, this method's fine if you want to do something on a flat surface, but say you want to applique something to a pair of jeans. So in the next one we're going to look at a hand sewing method, and I'm going to apply this Doodle Dog design to a pair of shorts. So I've used the Bondaweb method to apply it to the front, and now we can hand stitch round, so we can get access by doing it with hand where we couldn't with a machine. So I'm coming up from the bottom and I bring my needle up to the top and pull it through and make a loop, hold it down, bottom and up at the top. About a centimetre apart, I'm using 3 strands of anchor thread. Hold the loop down, put your needle in the bottom, bring it out at the top and carry on all the way round your raw edges. And the last method we're going to look at is using glue. You can use a 3-dimensional paint, and they come in different types of finishes, there's different makes. And we are just going to go round with this 3-dimensional paint round the edge of your fabric. It seals it in, it's washable, and it's great fun for kids to do as well. Really quite simple. And if you want to use a collage, and you're using these types of fabrics, so we've got velvet, corduroy and some furry fabric, they fluff and pill, so you may want to treat the edges before you go on to glue your project down with something called fray check. And that will seal in those edges and stop them from fraying. Of course, the best thing to do with kids if you're going to get into applique is to use felt, because it doesn't fray. So you can glue with a fabric glue straight onto your project. So lay all your pieces down and then pop a book on just to make sure that they stick firmly to the background. You can reduce your pattern. We've reduced this by 75%, and we're making a fun little brooch, which is another great project for children. So we're just using some glue and felt, and for the fiddly bits like the eyes, I've swapped them for a couple of sequins, so we're just putting a couple of sequins on. So you can see with applique there's lots of different ways that you can apply your design. You can stitch with a sewing machine, hand sew, or use fabric gluing products. You can reduce your pattern and you can enlarge your pattern. Try to keep your pattern simple though, so that the designs are uncomplicated. And that, as they say, is all there is to it. I do hope you found this tutorial helpful and that you get many happy hours as I have doing applique designs. Remember, if you're interested in any of the Doodle Dog designs that you see here, you can find me at Fabric Philly on craftsy.com, and there is a free pattern bird waiting for you. Also, you can find me on my website www.philippaphillips.com for more textiles.